everyone. This is Ellen Marie Francisco. Welcome to my channel. I thought, with all the US stuff going on, that the inevitable election that everybody's dooming and glooming over right now, I thought maybe we should take a look at what's going on in the cards. What does Spirit want us to know about this election? And what do they want us to know today? I guess that's how I'm going to pose the question. So, I have already picked the pile I'm working with. So, we're going to pull 10 cards and then we're going to talk about them in detail. First card, strength. Okay, so we're coming in. This is what is at the center here. Strength. There is a softness to him. There is he's a gentle giant in his own way. Quiet strength that knows the power, and the true power is forever power. Coming in with God light, cosmic light. He looks up to the sky a lot. He acknowledges the heavens, and I believe that this card is showing, the strength comes from somebody who acknowledges that, surrenders to it, knows that they may be a leader, but but God is the leader, right? Oh, and with the 11 coming in, these are power, these are power numbers.
Because it's part of the major arcana, it is very spiritually based. It does talk a lot about spiritual awakening and embracing constant change, being fueled by spirit. This center card does represent the U.S. in this reading. I'm not sure if we'll get as far as predicting who wins, but we're gonna certainly approach it with an open mind. The strength card is, true power, true strength. When you're connected to the divine, it does come from within. It's heart-centered, so people are needing a softer approach, a more heartfelt approach, a more heartfelt sense of connection. A lot of the eclipses that we've been through in the last 6, 7, 8 months are helping through, enlighten and help things come to light. I believe that there will be a lot of revelations between now and the election day, very fast, rapid ones. And I also really do feel the forefathers around. I feel like Washington is kind of around, and even Martha. I see little images of her here and there coming out of my peripheral. As much as it may look bleak, the heart of America knows what it needs, and there needs to be a strong, influential, determined forefront.
Oh yeah, I'm using this deck today too because it's the Wild One deck. Father of Pentacles is crossing. So this to me is the sign that the ancestors are here. So our forefathers, I believe, are crossing us here, going wow. And obviously look at the colors in the antlers as well. So we're talking a lot about obviously gender issues and all the rest, right? What is a man? What's the idea of a man crossing? So interesting that this is a crossing card. It's also, like I said, the forebears card. So I feel like there is a lot of spiritual protection around this. They come with legions of help. Legions of help. So relationships with father, the patriarch as well. This is a little representative of the patriarch, and the patriarch is changing. Obviously, we have women issues coming up with the Mother of Cups.
Father of Pentacles is crossing, then it really is a lot about the money. It's about where resources are being spent, how they're being spent. I believe that the impetus is that the people in the Americas want the money to stay at home. So I really do feel like this is a kind of a really big template about the importance of the family unit and the core. The other thing about the Father of Pentacles is that he usually is respected in the community. He usually is entrepreneurially spirited. Making money is a focus, is a goal, is an outcome. Brings a lot of value to the system, knows the value of things. So in the material world, this guy can really perform and outperform and master, and also be able to materialize things that people think are impossible. He's not a dreamer. He's not a dreamer. He doesn't do pie in the sky. Oh, I wish I may, I wish I may. No, he's going, I will, I will, I will. Thy will be done. So that's what's really needed here. A true leader, uh, able to bring in from the heavens the best plans and seed them in the earth. That's what's being called upon.
Underneath. The Two of Swords. This is like a duality. What's the balance between we're all basked in the same sunlight. We're all basked in the same God truths. So there may be this sense of, it would be good if the arms could come down, but what is the unified fight here? What do we all want as Americans? What are you bringing in? What is coming into light as far as how things are doing? Is it a fair fight? At the base of it, this is a base position too. So is it a fair fight? Is it being focused on? Are the right issues being focused on? Like, that's the funny thing. While everybody's running amok, doing the blame game, at the core center is a need for balance and a need to bringing light into situations that have been resistant to growth. It's inevitable. It's funny that the sort of like eclipse kind of energy in this.
Who have already made up their mind. So what happens when you get this kind of two of sword energy too is a lot of times people will just stick to their guns instead of being open-minded. They don't really want to admit that they may be wrong, that they may have misinterpreted information, that they may not have got it right. Instead of having all that open-mindedness, I'm going to roll with it anyway. So I also keep feeling, when I'm feeling into this card, a lot of China. So I have to wonder if sometime around the election, that things could become more, like China could be pulling a fast one somewhere, basically, at the same time. And I also wonder if I'm feeling that there's just so much pride. I think that there would be a coming together if there were threats upon the land. There is no divide when you have a common goal. Say it would be good for everyone and anyone to keep as open a mind and to be willing to renegotiate the new facts that have come to the surface, to new awarenesses or enlightenment that has happened in these days and will happen in these days ahead.
And over here we've got the Fool. The Fool coming to roost here. If you want to take the face value of the words, a lot of people probably feel like they've been fooled right around now. And yet, Spirit, if the light is coming, if the emphasis is on shedding light, focusing on what is working here, what isn't working here, then the trust in the background would be necessary. Like, you would have to trust that God's hand is in this. This is a good sense that, yeah, it's still a spiritual issue, whether it's just an election.
Spirit can make things happen. I think the stage is set beautifully for the intervention of divine acts, divine interventions, divine intrusions, and on and on.
Hanging over our heads right now is the mother, the Queen of Cups, essentially, Mother of Cups in this deck. Mother of Cups over top. You know, the protections. Who's protecting? Who is the mama in this situation? Obviously, just the women's issues probably coming up, right? Hanging over everybody's like, oh, take care of the girls. They'll vote for you. It seems, you know, and yet it's the men, show me the money. Show me the money, honey. Right? So the Mother of Cups, what does she do? She, you know, people look up to her for nurturing and acknowledgement and reflection back and on and on. So protecting the cup, Mother of Cups is also extremely sensitive. She would be she would be empathic. She would be incredibly sensitive to the needs of the people. So Mother of Cups coming above. So how much how much it's so interesting that this is the deck I chose, and like the stars are like red and white and in there. I didn't even really notice them before. So I feel like, yeah, what needs to be nurtured right now are the basic values and the nourishments that all Americans need, right? Mother of Cups wants to know that everything feels right. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't hasn't felt right for a long time. So this needs to come as well into the cup is the nourishments. It's not just the empty cup. You know, you can raise an empty chalice and makes it look like you've got something to celebrate. You know, that's what I'm hearing with this card. So a lot of fanfare, a lot of antics. You know, I feel like the like, yeah.
Let's not forget it came in a reversed position, hanging over our heads. So while the mother works with nurturing and embellishing love and all the rest in her highest form and is sensitive to the needs of other in her upright position, in the reverse position she would be a little self-centered. She would get very distressed if pushed too far. So if you challenged the Mother of Cups, then you may get the little beak to the head kind of a deal. You know, she's not going to be happy about it. And because she is an emotional being, there would be emotional backlashes and entrapments and things like that. So it's not fantastic to see her, even though I like the blue stars and the red stars in this card. I don't think that this is a good sign because it's representative of, well, I mean, it can represent, you know, the women in America for sure. Like they're getting testy here. They're like, all right, enough already. If we're, are, you know, if some of the center of this is having a spiritual awakening, then a lot of the moms are already worked up because people aren't seeing the true light here. So that could be an issue. Like it could be that the voice of the mothers become a little snippy in this next little bit because they feel like they're not getting what they need or what they want, or, you know. In some ways, the Mother of Cups would be prone to pie in the sky. Everything's fantastic. Everything's wonderful. Everything's fantastic. You know, so it's interesting because I'm feeling like this is pouring out. So it's also, I think the masses are getting tired of the excuses, or I thought you were going to help me, and then not getting the help. Oh, it's there to help, but then you don't get the help. Like, there have been a lot of times when the masses reach out for supports that don't come. So I don't think the empty promises or the selfish meanderings and explanations are gonna fare well with a populace that is more awakened and more aware of things going on behind the scenes. So, again, I hear that expression, are we drinking from an empty cup here? Feel free to hit the like button if any of this makes sense to you.
And the gateway to our future, this card, Ten of Wands. That doesn't look too good, does it? And it is upside down. Like, that's a lot of, wow. There's like so I mean, this can be blocks, and things that are getting in the way of what's really going on, you know what I mean? Like, the light's still there. The light came in loud and clear here, no question about it. Can't quite access this one, like, you got to work a little harder to get at the light here. So so you have to do your due diligence and dig beyond just the surface. What is the surface veil telling you, and who belongs to that surface veil? Is it the uninformed with a louder voice, the liars with a louder voice, or the truth with the quiet surety that it exists and it is part of everything? Do you know? So there is a truth in everything. It's not always the truth being told. Understand? You see this in body language. You feel it in the energetic vibes around somebody. You pick it up in dreams ahead of time. You see signs of it in the outside world confirming in numerical sequences or things like that. Is there really a boundary here? Is there really a border here? Is there really, what is here? So yeah, this is like tough. These are tough, obviously tough issues to get through. But easy to cut through when you see beyond the surface fray, right? Like, once you kind of take one branch off at a time, one branch off at a time, one branch off at a time. So that's what I'm kind of hearing. It's almost like, okay, I have to wonder if, I mean, again, I'm feeling a lot of Trump in these cards. I am not feeling, I feel like yeah, it's interesting. All right, so because there are so many corrupt branches of the American system that are coming more and more into light, right? So the branches are keeping us away from the light, essentially. That's how I would read this card. And it is a 10. So, and it's in a gateway to our future. So this is the real issue. Who are the gatekeepers? The gatekeepers are not bringing the realities in proper form. They are not representing the light that God is showing us in here with this, as well as, even, I mean, the strength card. You can't be the strength card. You can't be the strength card unless you're wearing your gods with you. You know what I mean? Like, you are the strength card. You come in as the strength card because you know how to embody godliness and embody the God force and use the God force to move things into better light and better balance. So this election, I think, is being won on that. Like, I think it's, whatever it looks like, I think it's still going to be God's way. It's whatever way it's happening because it's a protected journey already. Here comes what the future looks like. 3 of Wands. 3 of Wands. 3 of Wands. This is like a community card too. The community is strong together. It's coming together from opposing forces and creating a unity. So I think that that there are more similarities with where Americans are in the situation than perhaps the individual Americans may realize, that you're actually, as a people, you're actually pretty unified. It's just the political structures that have kind of divided, or stressed on. Well, everybody's got their personal opinion, but the point is the working towards what are the commonalities, what can we build on, what can we agree on, what can we do.
The Five of Cups is just the deep, deep, deep emotional dive and the threat of depression and despondency that can come up with it, because you can get so entrenched in the emotional body and the thoughts that are so overwhelming to begin with that it can cloud any possibility coming at you that could be a better one, right? So again, back to the preconditioned ideas, it's very hard. There's also there's a part of this cup that has to take such a deep dive in order to heal. It can be an extremely healing circumstance where the circumstances conspire to allow for a very deep emotional healing, and it can take time. So the fives can interrupt timelines, right? It's more divine timing, not human timing. You can't force the election's not over until it's over, kind of a deal, as well as what lingers. So there could be things that linger afterwards. Not sure what they mean by that. If the country is divided, then yeah, there would be a lot of disappointment hitting the airwaves not long after the actual election day. Is it going to be as doom and gloom as everyone's painting it out to be? I believe that everyone is going to have their own mourning in one way or another to process through. And I do feel like there could be retaliations uh, in certain factions of the country. So, which also may take time. So yeah, slow down. There could be a slowdown here somehow.
Five of Cups. It can be a little distressing because you're crying over spilt milk. This is kind of that card. Like, the cups look empty. You don't know how to get like, those cups could be full and the horse wouldn't know it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like these are a lot of preconditioned ideas that are stopping people from seeing what is actually going on, right? See the symbolism in the light and the dark here. So, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You can't make them drink the nonsense or the disruptions or the corruptions or the empty platitudes that are hitting the world stage as a result through the American, airwaves as a result of all of this. So, and I mean, it's like, this card sort of entombs us in this, you know, like there are no leaves on these branches, right? Like even though there may be the promise of mother's warmth, I do not see any warmth where we get to the gateway to the future. So, and in fact, it kind of reminds me of almost like the shape of a coffin is kind of what I'm seeing. So, I don't, I don't, yeah, I think there's a lot at play here. We're in trouble in a lot of ways, right? Like that's what it kind of looks like. And yet, the truths are out. There's a lot of truths that have been revealed, right? You can't unsee a truth. You can, I mean, does it swing your vote? Not sure, but there's a lot that's still, you know, what poisons are you drinking from? Because you're not willing to accept the light. Four of Pentacles, upside down.
Four of Pentacles is a representative of home and property, right? Like again, we're back to core values here: family, home, security, keeping it, building a strong foundation that basically nourishes itself. So I do also sense, when I'm feeling into this card, that money is going to start going in new directions that it hasn't gone before. So that makes me wonder if, there would be a change in administration, because the the spearheading, it feels like things are getting spearheaded, and it feels like, I keep hearing blood money. Good heavens. I don't know. I just all of a sudden started hearing that blood money. So the math is going to matter. The math matters to Americans right now. So there could be. It's interesting because the Four of Pentacles can talk about greed and isolation. It can also talk about generosity and expansion. And this is a reversed Four of Pentacles. So it's quite possible that resources will head in directions that weren't necessarily entirely foreseeable. So it's quite possible that the that one of the parties may be a little more underhanded in there. It's almost like a bait and switch. Oh, we're gonna say the money's gonna go for this, and then the minute we get in, the money's actually going to go over here. So I think that some of the predominant voice box, the words that are saying a lot about one minor part of what the party's going to do, is, I think that there's a lot of overblown stances here. Break it down to the simplest form on homeland security is kind of what I'm hearing. So I believe that homeland security is going to be way busier after this election, is kind of what I'm feeling in this. Yeah, that's an interesting last little tidbit there.
Four of Pentacles are a foundation card. You don't really make a move financially or in a body sense unless you're grounded properly with the right approach. So I think that this is a good card to have, as it does look like the financial stuff improves, and or at least it's a cornerstone for how events play out, I guess. The money, and also it's very interesting because I just started to see, it's like, oh, all this entwined money, like the money, it looks like it's a good foundation, it looks like you're starting a good foundation, but where's the money coming from? I'm hearing. So if that's the case, yeah, I think a lot of the biggest money in this election probably came from people who are pushing agendas that aren't good for the American people, and they're trying to create a false foundation on smoke and mirrors, basically. It's kind of what's at stake here, I guess. And then this card is the Justice card. So that's like karma, baby. Karma is real. There are always karmic ramifications for everything, like everything. So wow, that's interesting. That's what I got. Oh, and look, it just fell out. Father of Cups. Oh, interesting. So the Father of Cups is showing up too, King of Cups. So that's mastering the emotional field. You know, as a guy, if you're the king, if you're showing up as the Father of Cups, you do know, you do understand. You have risen through the darknesses of life to learn, and that's where your power comes from. You understand the plight of the people. You understand the darknesses. You understand, you know, the evils that live in the world. So, and you are attuned to, you're attuned to them, so that you can guard against them. So I would say, yeah, read into it whatever you want, but he's, wow, popping out of the deck just like that. So the father showed up to marry the mother, essentially. So I would say that's an interesting sign as well.
The Justice card, of course, also means criminal law. It can mean things in the courts. It can also, so it could be that, you know, there could be more uh, blame of this and of that and all the rest, you know. The Justice card can also talk about relationships, destined spiritual contracts. And it's also, you know, the high spiritual laws. So I really do feel like this is quite a spiritual election. And as people are running around going, this is the most important election, like they always say, it is a very important election because the infusion of the God force has to form. I'd love you to subscribe to my channel.
But I like that the mother and the father showed up in, you know, the father of money and the mother of empathy. I mean, it was a good combination, I guess, to see. So it really is like family. It's coming down to the family, the forebears, you know, the grandmothers and the grandfathers. This is an issue as well of like good old fashioned values and God in the picture. You know, the sense of a divine, not the one that you have to purchase at a church, but the one that comes in loaded into your body as your natural divine right. You know. So be willing to surrender. If the Fool is showing up, you know, the God force is asking us to surrender and trust that it is in God's hands, and that there's definitely more than meets the eye here. So it is the community. I think we're going to see a sense of what the community really is about, and you know, like, you can talk a lot and you can walk a lot, and one helps you lose calories and one does not. So who's doing the walk out there? Who's walking the walk and who's talking the talk is really what it comes down to. And who's looking up. So that's my quick peek on some of the energies around the election.
I'm really glad you came into my channel today, and thanks for listening.